I'm Eric.
And I'm Steve.
Commander 2018 reactions.
Let's talk about it.
Welcome back, Planeswalkers, to the Collector Mania YouTube channel, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk About It. As normal, if you like something on YouTube, give it a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. If we're worthy of your play group, give us a share, and if you are subscribed already, hit the bell for notifications for us. So, Steve.
Yeah, it's been a week now. We've kind of digested the spoilers as much as we can with the Commander product. Yeah, I guess we put together a short video about like our likes and dislikes about the set. We chose our 5 favorite cards, and then we kind of went through together and chose some cards that were kind of like, why?
Yeah, just felt a little off here or there.
Yeah.
So, let's get into it. So, Steve, you got your first group.
Yeah.
Here.
So my #1 favorite card from this entire set is probably this Lich Queen, Varina.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go over what the card does because you guys have most likely read it at this point. I feel like this is a perfect commander for a tricolor zombies deck. I've been building it, you know, as a deck tech that I'm going to put up on the channel here at some point pretty soon. I think the white is a little understated. It really doesn't do a whole lot, but it does add a lot of really powerful removal. Like, my version doesn't really include like a whole lot of like the creatures that come back as eternalized, just because when I go tribal, I go super tribal, and I don't want to see like a Aven or anybody else in there. But once you start getting into like just the tricolor like additions, like the one zombie, the black-white zombie that says whenever a zombie you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life, and like little nuances like that, it just becomes really powerful. And this commander on its own is worth running, in my opinion. Really, really strong.
Yeah.
I didn't fully understand it the first time I read it. Exile 2 cards from your graveyard. I thought that said exile 2 creature cards from your graveyard, and was just like, why would you print this? This makes zero sense.
Yeah, but a really relevant ability there, and yeah, just using stuff twice. I mean, yeah, super powerful card.
Yeah.
And like you said, unites the tribe.
Yeah.
In a good way. So.
Well, and I imagine that we'll probably get some more black-white zombies further down the road. I think there's like 5 or so that are worth playing, in my opinion, at this point.
Cool.
And I've got Lord Windgrace. I think this is one of the very few cards that actually say lands matters in the entire deck. The Planeswalker as character is really, really cool. If you haven't read up a lot about like the lore and the history about Lord Windgrace, it's pretty interesting. I'm not going to get into it here, of course, because it's a lot. I really like the first 2 abilities. That's where this card shines, in my opinion. The -11, the more I look at it, the better it is. Like, I'm not wild about it or anything like that, but if you're, well, I think the problem here for me is that it is kind of win more, because if you're ahead enough to -11 your Planeswalker, then you really probably don't need to remove 6 things from the board. Yeah. So on and so forth. Like, yeah, it's going to win you the game most likely and give you some tokens and whatnot, which I don't care about. It's more the destroying that's important to me.
Right.
But the -3 ability, my gosh, and the +2 ability. Like, card draw engines are really what I like seeing in a commander, and this is actually perfect for that. And it will pretty much outplace my XR Aaron deck and turn it into a Lord Windgrace deck.
Yeah, definitely a great, like you said, two versions of, like, normally with that sort of dig comes the loss, but here it's okay, my goal is to draw into this, discard it, draw again. Keep doing this, feel my graveyard, return some stuff if you need, and then just blast somebody. Like,
well, and I've been like realizing the power level of discard more and more now, especially in like red decks, obviously. Like, I've always kind of utilized it in my Durete deck and stuff like that, which, you've shown me how to do that. But like in Jund, it's just that much more powerful, especially with the lands that the creatures and lands that you get to play with now. I mean, think about that new green Merfolk guy that when he dies, he brings all the lands from your graveyard back to play. So you could just constantly discard lands, draw extra cards, just find more lands to discard, then sacrifice that guy, bring all those lands back into play,
Yeah.
Super powerful. The only thing I really suggest with this guy, if you're planning on building the deck, I would definitely highly recommend getting some fetch lands. I think it's needed in a deck like this. Same with like either Crucible or Ramatop Excavator. Obviously, the more budget version is the Ramatop. And then maybe a few creatures that can play double lands. I don't necessarily think you need to go to Azusa every time or anything like that. I think Oracle is great. It's still kind of pricey. But there's also like Wayward Sawtooth. It's funny, they built this deck over the last couple of years for us just by adding cards. Like, think about Get Rock Monster in this deck. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, and then Omnath. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's good.
And, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, and that's maybe why I'm a little disappointed with the actual deck. We'll get to that, though, in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then next up we've got Windgrace's Judgment. This is probably my second favorite card out of the entire set. This card's insane in my opinion. So 3 colors, a black and a green. Leave it to Golgari to have some of the best removal again.
Yeah, no kidding.
For any number of opponents, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. It's so powerful. Like, super efficient for 5 mana. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, you think destroy best thing opponent owns, like, that's I don't know if this should cost 5 or be an instant. If you ask me, like,
yeah, but I like that it's 5 and an instant speed spell.
Yeah, fantastic spell.
The only way it could be even better is if it said exile instead of destroy. But why would it say that? You know?
Yeah.
It's black green, not white.
So good. Like you said, another Golgari amazing thing. You think of like Maelstrom Pulse and Abrupt Decay and like, you know, even Putrefy and Mortify and all. Or Mortify is white black, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Putrefy, like, and then you go into this and it's like, my goodness, you know. Oh, so good.
I mean, and at first I was just like, how does this thing destroy pretty much everything? And then I kind of thought about the colors and everything like that. And it's just like, yeah, black kills creatures, green kills enchantments and artifacts. What is there past that besides, you know, I mean, yeah, planeswalkers, but black also kills planeswalkers. So
yeah,
it's just like, wow, it actually makes a lot of sense that it doesn't, well.
That it hits everything.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I agree. Ugh, such a strong card. I'm sure we're all going to be tired of this one here soon.
I need like 5 copies.
Yeah.
And I've got Saheeli's Directive. So having a Genesis Wave for artifacts is really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to put this in my Dorette deck. It might actually just make it into my slow bad deck since I built that recently. And Dorette is pretty finely tuned. So I don't know where this will end up, but it's so powerful. Such a good card. I like it better in mono red. I don't really think this is like an Izzet card by any means. It's definitely not, you know, for Brea. Just because that triple red is like rough. Super rough. But
yeah,
mono red, just another cool tool. I like that they're supporting that still in their own kind of way. Yeah,
definitely and we've seen this, you know, you think of Scrap Mastery as far as like the turn your graveyard upside down for artifacts, you know. Now we've got this, like you said, the Genesis Wave for artifacts. That's cool. It makes perfect sense that they slapped Improvise on there. Like, we had a customer come in just yesterday, and he's just like, you know, they printed a cool keyword for every, like, it's so many different things. Like, here's Improvise. Like, here's this, here's that. I think that's super cool.
I mean, that is a good point. And, you know, I did end up eventually I don't know if you've read this article, but there's an article on the main website that talks about how they are trying to like build these commander decks around cards that are in the sets around it, essentially, at this point.
Okay.
So
like print stuff early, like you said, and then, you know, who knows, once Ravnica comes out, this all might make a lot more sense.
It might, but yeah, I don't want to start getting into the negatives yet, and I keep trying to slip into that.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
If you're waiting for blood, it'll come, I'm sure.
So yeah, really cool card. Really like it. You know, artwork's cool. Everything's cool about this, really. And then my last pick. I know I gushed over this one in the spoiler video, but this card is so cool. Whip Tongue Hydra. So fun. The artwork is so whimsical, so just goofy and fun. Giant chameleon with multiple heads. And it has a super relevant ability. I mean, mono green, like we talked about, just has kind of a downfall with, you know, not being able to deal with flyers quite as well. It's getting better because of all the reach creatures, but this is absolutely insane. Like, it's the what is the card?
The Bane of Progress.
Bane of Progress.
Flyers,
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, like, you know, you had said, and really, I play a lot of green. I run into those issues where it's like, man, I wish I could stop this flyer. But there's some good choices. Even there's some bad choices. Like, you know, the Cloud Thresher, the Silklash Spider. This guy one-ups the good choices.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's a like a suite of 4 or 5 good flying defense green cards now, and I think this one's now the best, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the only one that gets like in a comparison to me or with me is the Uvenwald Hydra, just because it's so powerful as far as finding whatever land you want.
Yeah.
It can become bigger than this most of the time. But those two, in my opinion, and you should probably be pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Don't need to run any hurricanes or anything anymore.
Yeah, no Silk Lash. You know, there's some of those Colossuses from Theros, and even those guys. Yeah, they got reach, and they might be an 8/8 or something, but it's like this beats that.
Yeah.
Just says kill it. You know.
Yeah.
So and can get super crazy big after that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree, Steve. Great looking art, great card.
And it's so creative, and it's not going to break any format, kind of thing. It's just like, this card's just wacky and fun.
And Hydra people will go nuts.
Yeah.
I think there's an evolving tribe of Hydra people.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
So, yeah.
Like, the only thing is we need, like, a 5-color Hydra commander. That's not
Progenitus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. So next, I think we've got my choices here. Treasure Nabber. I think this could really mess some people up and get you killed, I think.
People are actually talking about playing this in Vintage now.
I heard about that. 'Cause people are just like, oh, okay, we'll go ahead and use this for whatever purpose, and, well, it's mine now.
Yeah, for at least a turn.
Yeah.
Which could be enough in Vintage, you know what I mean? It's just like, well, I'll kill you now.
Yep. Or stop you, or shut your stuff down, or whatever. Like, definitely a cool card.
Yeah, I think this is one of the ones that, if you open up the precons and cannibalize them, this is a card that you should hold on to.
Yes, I agree.
No matter what.
Yep, like you said, even if there's a hint of a possibility of this going into another format besides Commander, this card says to me, casual.
Yeah.
But when casual is just like stupid enough to work, and it works in Legacy or Modern or whatever, well, it couldn't be Modern. Holy crap, couldn't be Modern. Legacy or Vintage or something like this card is. Yeah, has that chance.
Well, and it's in like a relevant creature type too, which is the other part
Goblins,
that kind of pushes it over the edge in a little bit. Just because, like, Goblin Tribal is still a thing in a lot of places. So, yeah. Oof.
Cool card. Next, Loyal Guardian. This card speaks to me. I think it's one of the coolest ones of the cycle. Like, the red one's pretty good. The blue one's not bad. The white one's really good too.
Finally.
Like the black one, I know that I got the image, but I forget what it does.
I think each opponent loses 3 life or something like that, which is powerful, but this is way more fun.
Yeah, super cool. Extra counters, lots of things to deal with, like hardened scales, and
I like that they kind of stuck blue this time with like the okay.
Yeah, you just get a card, which is still nuts, but I agree. Cool card, great art.
Yeah.
Brutaclad, I've got a deck tech up. We'll probably link to that or something. I think this card might be one of the ones that we see too much of in the near future, as far as just like...
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
I'm ready for... Here's my Thopter assembly, and I'm doing this and this and this, and like one of our viewers pointed out Precursor Golem and stuff, and it's just like, you're gonna be swarmed by a millions in no time. Like, it's gonna get bad quick. I think it's just so doable,
I think the only thing, the thing that kind of pushes this back a little bit is that it's only in red blue, so you can't really get like the stupid crazy tokens from green.
Well, yeah, I don't think you need them though.
No,
you get the stupid crazy tokens of artifacts. Like
that's true. Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
I think. It's very attainable, and that's what's scary about some stuff like that. I'm trying to think of some nemesis of past days. Like, certain cards are just so usable.
I mean, the one that always comes to my mind when we talk about nemesis is Nikusar.
Yeah,
and that's still like, to this day, it's just like, oh gosh, here we go again.
He's got a Nikusar deck, like,
or Marin. Marin's another great example.
Yes, things are gonna die and then come back, and it's gonna get bad. Yeah, Mizzix, same thing. Like,
why are all these things enemy colored? It's weird.
But I could see this. The only thing really that kind of slows this guy down is the converted, like the cost, if you ask me. So sure, if you're getting this online at like say turn 4 or 6 or later, you're still like, that's still pretty good for an EDH game. Like, I'm okay playing my commander on turn 6 and then just going bananas from then. So good.
I think overall this is just a fun commander.
Yeah. Like,
I see what you're saying for sure. I don't think it's become as much of a menace as either of those two aforementioned commanders. Just because like they were absolutely ridiculous, and this one you kind of have to jump through a few hoops to get to ridiculous. It's not like Mizzix where you're just like, bam, bam, bam,
There's
couple of
everything.
spells. This is exactly what I was going to be doing anyway. And now
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
cost a 7-cost spell for 3, and it's just like,
Yeah.
deal with it.
We'll see. I
Yeah.
think this speaks to a lot of. I mean, he just looks evil. Not that these people that might use him are evil, but I could see this. I could just be like, oh gosh, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Isolated Watchtower. This is Is this still our? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This is our like. It's hard to tell. We kind of scraped the bottom of the barrel with our faves. I like this card. Just it feels fair. Like board games have mechanics like this. Somebody's behind enough, they get brought up a little bit, and everybody, if you've got one of these, that's good. I also play decks like white and red that aren't. White's pretty good at it, catching up. It's no green. But if you're running red or something, I played how many Ben decks or games with like 4 land, and it's like, oh god, I wish
Somehow
it
you make
wasn't
it work,
turn 8.
though.
Yeah, but this card can make it happen, which is cool. So
Yeah, we definitely are bleeding into the dislikes
the
again, though,
Neds.
because I am completely on the other side of this card.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is not good at all. The only thing I really like on this whole thing is Scry 1, but for 2, it's just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, I do agree. Without that last line, this card would be pretty good, but you don't want to plan on being behind. That's all I'll say. But it's good that it's here. All right, Steve.
Hey, now we're back into our
We're back to your favorite cards.
Yeah,
right?
so, okay. I despise this card. It's moved on from a general dislike to a...
Or disappointment.
Why in the hell does this thing exist? Like, I know that, once again, I'm trying not to be too mean about it. There are people that like this card, but I am definitely not a huge fan of it. I got so excited when I got to see a giant 3-color legendary spider, and it's just like, then we get this weird amalgamation of abilities and things that, in my opinion, don't make any sense together, or make sense for the deck, or no one wanted this. You know what I mean? It's just like, why? I don't know. Let me know if you guys agree with me on this. Let me know if I'm just completely off my rocker, but this card is just no fun.
I think we've talked to Seth a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Seth sees some merit to this card, and I kind of agree. But Seth, the trick with Seth is always arch enemy. Like,
Yeah.
he could take a 10-year hiatus from Magic, come back, and people be like, remember that time
Yeah.
11 years ago
Yeah.
where
Get him.
Seth punked us with this? We gotta kill him.
Yeah.
This card is, you play from out front, and stay alive somehow. Like, I get it. If he's big and reachy and...
This isn't even something that I want to be doing in Commander anyway.
Right.
It's
Make
just
everybody attack you. That's a bad idea.
like I know that naturally happens to me too, but like I don't want to force it upon myself the
Right.
second I sit down.
Yeah.
Like there are so many things that could be altered like very like lightly on this card and make it good. I think even just making it so all creatures didn't have to attack each combat. This card would be kind of boring, but it would be better in my opinion. I don't know. I wish it had like something to do with like getting caught in webs, or even just like generating more spider tokens. Like people have been wanting that for a long time.
Yeah.
Spider tokens would be ridiculous. Like Ishkana was as close as we've gotten so far, and this could have been like the perfect like, oh, here we go,
Yeah.
Dragon
Run them
Lair
both together.
Spider, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yep, I think you're right. Time will tell, but I think we'll be proven that is the analysis. It's a little blah.
This to me is the card that you get in the Commander deck and you never look at again.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
Yep.
like, oh, here it is. I'll put it maybe in my cube, probably not.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's feeling risky, I guess you can build it, but
Somebody will do it and it'll blow us away.
and that's fine. You know, I'm sure that'll happen
Yeah.
for sure. Like
Yeah.
it's a super aggressive card,
Mm-hmm.
and it definitely has its own like ability to seal up games by making everybody attack each other. But I always see myself as the person that's being attacked in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I've got this 5/5 spider that gets +1/+1 counters every once in a while, but you've got an entire army of creatures that are coming to kill me because all my creatures are tapped because they've just attacked somebody else, and the only thing I have to defend myself is this giant spider.
Yeah.
So, how does that make any sense?
Yeah. The
Like-
swarm. Yeah, not good. Isn't Varchild in the deck that this comes into?
No,
she's
Varchild is in the
is
Ezra
in
one,
deck.
yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say that would be out of control. Maybe that's what it takes.
Yeah, it takes...
A bunch of survivors swinging at each other.
Oh my gosh.
And then the spider just sitting there. And you win because you're the only person left.
Yeah, but the spider has to attack.
So you kill one thing. I don't know.
The second...
That's a very good point. All other creatures attack each turn if able.
Yeah.
Would be perfect.
Yeah. Because the second somebody aetherizes...
He's got vigilance, so what am I talking about?
Who cares, though?
Yeah,
Once again, like, he's the only creature.
This card is a mess.
It is so weird. Like, who designed this? I want to talk to them. Like, really.
Yeah. It's interesting, but in a what were you thinking type way. We've been talking about it for like 3 minutes. Like,
I mean, we talked about it for like... I don't know how long we've talked about this card, but we've talked about it for a while, and it's not...
We should make you do the deck tech, Steve.
No.
No?
I refuse.
All right.
It's not happening.
What do you say, our next nah?
Oh, God, I have to play this, too, at some point, because I chose the Jund deck.
Oops.
Yeah, oh well. Maybe I'll see that's really powerful.
Yeah.
Probably not. Oh, yeah, so this was another one of my choices, Coveted Jewel. There are good sides to this card, and there are bad sides to this card. I can see how it can be super powerful, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like... My opinion on this card is that I really need to play with it to find out how bad it really is. Because I already know how good it is. I just don't know how bad it is, if that makes any sense.
It does. Like, if this is out of your control or something and it's just somebody else is abusing it or whatever, like, yeah.
It makes me wish that Brago said cards that you owned instead of controlled. Like, because then it would just be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Here you go, temporary mana, but I'm going to blink it back and draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way to look at it. You can you say, wow, I hold this to a high degree as far as free mana and free cards, and then it goes to somebody else. Well, that's not good.
Yeah.
But how bad could it be? Like, and it could be bad. I think you're right.
Yeah. Well, and that player draws 3 cards. It's just like,
oh yeah, all that under somebody else's control, not a good thing.
I wish that it didn't have the draw 3 cards on the when somebody steals it thing. I understand that it's super beneficial because when you take it, you draw 3 cards, but I wish it didn't say that. Because if it didn't say that, then it would just be 3 mana, which is bad enough on its own, but it's not as bad as being able to draw 3 cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, you think Monarch, I think some people don't care enough for Monarch.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just another one of those things that could just start getting you killed.
Do we know if this is in the
Izzet deck?
It's in the Izzet deck, but is it in the Esper deck where it should be?
It is in Exquisite Invention, so that's Izzet. That's it. Just the Izzet deck.
Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah. Like you said, I think you're right. It should be put in the Esper deck as far as...
It 100% makes sense there. And, you know, I feel like this is a little bit of, like, Wizards arm twisting to, like, hey, you need to buy all 4 of these.
Just to, like, put them all together the way they should be. Like, unswirl them. Yeah, I could see that.
There are a few cards that feel that way. This is the one that's most blatantly obvious, but there's at least 2 others that I've kind of looked at, like,
And even that Varchild thing. Like,
yeah.
the spider. Like, somebody could hold, like, you know, twist both your arms and say... You're going to get attacked. Here's your warriors. You can't attack me because I'm going to make a giant spider, so you might as well kill each other. Like,
okay.
But still, not a great thing.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Next.
Yep. Pull.
Yeah.
So this I think we both agree is probably our least favorite card of the entire set.
I was disappointed that he picked this as his nah because I wanted to talk about it.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Like, I kept trying to, like, justify this thing's existence, and, like, every time I look at it, I'm just like, why? This is, like, a mediocre effect slapped on a mediocre creature.
Put behind a shell game of, did I choose the right person that's going to kill me right now?
Like, there's even a good version of this that's a 3-cost cat that I don't see anybody play. You know what I mean? Like, so the bad version of this is never going to see play.
Yeah.
And it sucks because the artwork's so cool. Yeah. Like, it's just like, oh, that's a really interesting creature type and everything like that, but then you slap all this crap on it. I mean, a lot of people have brought up the argument that it's a 6-cost flying haster that may or may not cast you a spell. So it's just like, okay, but as we've talked about before, I think Magic's in a different place than that now. We don't really care about this too much.
Yeah, you want a big... if you're spending 6, like... I take a Hellkite Tyrant over this. Like, you know, yeah, just a very strange card.
Well, and that's a good way to look at it too. Like in your 6-drop slot, what creatures would you rather have than this? And then the list goes on and on and on. Like, I look at this card and instantly I think Combustible Gearhulk. I would rather have a Combustible Gearhulk. I'd rather potentially either draw 3 cards or deal somebody a crap ton of damage because
Yeah.
they're foolish enough to let me flip cards.
Yeah, if this had like flash or obviously that would kind of defeat the purpose of secretly choosing somebody, but like I just take that flash, change direct target, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
even if it just said this creature flash redirect.
Yeah,
you know, that would make a lot of sense.
And he could be a 2/2 for all I care, and he'd still be okay.
Yeah,
like
it would still be better than this.
Oh man,
copy target spell. Blah.
Yeah, just a very odd card, and we have enough of those. Dualcaster Mage, no problem. Like,
and that's like the pinnacle. I mean, in my opinion, you get a body and a guy, or a body and a spell, which is just ridiculous. But
very strange card.
Yep.
Next, this is me.
Yeah.
I see. We talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's merit here. I just don't like that card, and I can anticipate Judge calls me. Oh, what happens now? And it's like I have this that steals his thing that he puts into play, or it's like don't do this. Don't do it.
I've got a possibility storm, and this flipped off the top of my library.
just shuffle your possibility storm, and it never is found again. Yeah, it's clearly good, especially if you build around it. This is one of those things that there's respect for this card.
Mm-hmm.
If you like, it's put in a deck for a reason and an exact reason. It flips your one Soul Ring into something disgusting, like a Blightsteel Colossus. It flips your Possibility Storm into an Omniscience. Like,
see, I love polymorph effects, and this is like right up my alley. So I am on the other side or with you on this one, but I can totally understand what you're talking about now working here. I can see the frustration just being like, I don't know.
Yeah, just
where's Sawyer? Sawyer,
help us! Yeah, just you know, it's a little like we said. These aren't necessarily the cards we hate. Besides the spider, we hate the spider.
Yeah,
Steve hates the spider. I hate the spider.
spider.
But like it feels so weird. It feels weird. I don't even know what deck this is in. What deck does this belong in, Steve?
Who cares? I'll get it and I'll put it in one of my decks and I'll be happy with it for the rest of my life. So
next one, these Storm Cycle, kind of cool. Green one, decent. Black one, pretty strong and game ending if you ask me.
Yeah.
Red one, who can complain? The blue one, what does that one do?
It makes tokens, which is
good, especially if you're playing Brutaclad. And then here we get Angels. White's had Angels for decades.
Yeah.
Next,
this card, I know some people are probably going to be scratching their heads on this one. I
would thought you would have liked this card.
I got really excited about it when I first saw it, just because of the color, you know, the band colors and merfolk and everything like that. The more I thought about it, the more I really was just like, ah.
She's like the merfolk lady that like went like studied abroad and like that's all she's about now. Like it's not merfolks anymore.
The way that I look at this card is the same way that I look, well, not as severely, but the same way I look at our werewolf commander.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a creature for creature's sake, but it doesn't fit the theme in any way.
Yep.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Why was this made this way? There could have been a million different things that you could have done.
Yeah.
I would have preferred like an effect like.
Are we putting too much weight in merfolk though? Because they're just saying here's a commander that works with enchantments and gets counters and draw.
I mean, we are. This works fine for Banchantress, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't think we necessarily realize that you can only draw a card to your first enchantment spell.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to do multiple, you have to play them on other people's turns, which there aren't that many flash enchantments out there. There are a few. But past that, I'm purely looking at this on the tribal aspect. And that's where the disappointment comes, because it's just like, okay. I would have much rather seen something like, I don't know, maybe she just gets +1/+1s for each enchantment that she has on her, and then you get to draw cards equal to the amount of damage that she does to somebody, and then, you know, maybe something like that. I know that's not as exciting, especially for Enchantress, but I think this is a case of the right type of card, but wrong kind of creature type. You know, if that makes any sense. I'm sure there are going to be people that are going to force this. Just that there are people that force werewolves. Me. So, it's not... I guess it's not as dire as the last couple cards that we've looked at, but it's definitely not as good as I thought it was. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think, again, this fits into... This is a... Oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
not a... This card's awful, but why? You know? Yeah.
They really make some interesting decisions sometimes. It's just like... They understand that people have been waiting for cards like a creature type like this that unifies the merfolk tribe completely.
Do you think they care though, or
I mean, I hope.
Do you think they are aware of that?
Yes.
You think so?
They're very aware.
Really?
Yeah. Have you seen like the multiple articles that have come out about how, I guess, upset they are that they keep messing up werewolves?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I could think of werewolves and like other ones like allies, like with the General Tarim or whatever. I forget the guy's name. Like, those make sense because it's just like, duh, 5 color, please. Like, or hey, you had a really cool mechanic with flip cards, like, you know, Hunmaster of the Fells. Did you forget Legendary on him or something? Like, that all makes sense to me. But I don't know if people are like, we want to unite like the white merfolk of Lorwyn with the blue and green of Simic and stuff.
White blue used to be far more powerful than blue green merfolk. The only reason that it's changed quite a bit is because of the like Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan and Gate Crash. And, like, that shifted the power scale in my opinion. That's true. But like Sig River Champion or whatever his name is, it's the Champion
River
Guide. There we go.
Yeah.
Like, that card has been like go-to merfolk tribal leader for how many years now?
Yeah.
Like there's definitely a calling for let's put these two together, and this does it, but very like square peg round hole. You know what I mean?
I guess that's true.
So all of a sudden you're like playing enchantments to like benefit from your commander, and then you're taking
still running merfolk
out spaces for your merfolk, and like I don't know if you look at this philosophy at all, but like Jimmy and Josh when they talk about tribal stuff, and I 100% agree with them. Like, if you're running a themed deck, you better damn well have a lot of that theme in there, like at least 30%. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah,
so
I can see that.
You're pushing out merfolk for enchantments, which, I mean, can work. There are a few enchantments that I could definitely think of working with this. There's one in particular called Faces from the Past that I use in my merfolk deck right now that essentially states it's a 3-cost enchantment that whenever a creature dies, you get to untap all creatures that share a type with it. And merfolk, what do they love doing? Untapping and then retapping. Yeah. So really, if you have a sack outlet, all of a sudden you're just doing this. You know what I mean? It's like elves in a way.
Yeah.
Sea elves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible. I just am kind of like, I need another one. I need a different one. Give me Tatiova, like, super strong. Super Saiyan Tatiova.
Yeah, I could see that. That was my kind of first impression. This with Tatiova is just like draw an enchantment, draw on land, gain stuff, like, but still not like just a little off.
Yep.
And we're back to some Nas.
Back to some awesome creatures. Like, I'm buying the Esper deck for this card.
So with that, we're going to talk about just some reprint notable stuff.
Yeah. Mostly overall, like, my, I guess, idea here was to talk about the overall product and, like, the entire, because we ended our spoiler season right after Thursday.
Yeah.
Didn't get to talk about any of the actual, like, reprints or anything like that. I think, for the most part, I don't know if you feel the same way with me about this. I think, for the most part, the decks are kind of meh. They're not very interesting as far as reprints go. The Bant deck is probably the best put together. I mean, we talked about this in the pre-show. Like, it's just like, okay, somebody knew what they were doing when they built the Bant deck, and it's pretty obvious. Somebody was okay with artifacts, and somebody was okay with Esper, whatever the heck this theme is supposed to be. And no one knew what they were supposed to be doing with Jund lands.
Yeah.
So, that's where I stand.
I'd agree. I think right now, as far as pre-orders, the Jund one is down by like 3. We're pretty even. I think it's like, you know, the Esper or the Bant one is the one that's highest by maybe 2.
Yeah.
And then everything else is right beneath that by 1, I think. And then the Jund is 2 or 3 behind the, like, Izzet and Esper ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely some odd choices, I guess.
I definitely feel that the Esper deck just the only problem with that deck is it kind of like has a weird theme that doesn't 100% ring true through the entire deck. Like, if we were going to focus on top deck matters, I think that we'd have a lot more cards like the Miracles and stuff like that. The Sphinx really kind of fits into the theme, but I think the Sphinx is just good overall.
Yeah.
And then you've got this weird zombie chick that is amazing, but doesn't belong in the deck at all.
No, just colors, really. Like, I do agree. Like, you think, not that they should put top in one deck versus the rest or something, but top's a perfect example. We're whinging about lands.
Yeah.
Put in Scrylands. Like, there's a whole cycle of them. Like, I don't think they're too expensive for Temple of Deceit and Temple of Silence and stuff. Like, that makes perfect sense. Scry, there should be more Scry in that deck than anyone's ever seen in their whole life, or that you ever feel comfortable running. Like, that's how that should be, if you ask me.
And it would make sense.
It would make
instead of
sense.
like a million tap lands that do nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
I mean, that's...
is there Halmar depths? That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Once again, as we talked about in the pre-show, like, the land bases are probably my biggest gripe about this entire product. The only one that makes any semblance of sense to me is the Izzet one.
Yeah.
Just because it's just like, oh yeah, this is efficient. Like, 15 islands, 12 mountains. I never thought I would be, like, clamoring for more basic lands in a product, but now I'm just like, why aren't there more basic lands in this product?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's driving me. Let's count them really quick. How many tap lands are? Go ahead. Yeah, let's do the Esper one. Yeah, how many tap lands come in this deck?
So 1, 2.
Yeah, I would definitely count
3,
those. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hey, Halmar Dust is in there.
Yeah. 10, 11, 12, 13. You can speed this up at least, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 tapped lands.
Yeah. You were complaining when you were playing my deck and it had 13 tap lands in it.
I would lose my mind.
That's 21 tap lands, Eric.
I know. Yeah, that's real bad. I think my Esper deck to this day runs like 8 islands and like 6 plains and like 4 swamps. And then, I've got the temples in there. I've got the Scars of Mirrodin fast lands. Like, you don't need... This is the deck that I tried to build Progenitus, and all it was here's all 10 fetches and all 10 filters and all 10 this, and it's just like, I want to pull my hair out trying to make 2 red mana. Like,
yeah.
and it's all tapped and it's all bad. Like, it doesn't need to be this way. Like, Gilgate's bad. Like you said, just make them at a basic. Like,
yeah. I would rather have a basic than a Guildgate most of the time, especially when they're in these numbers, or in these numbers. I think that's probably the Jund one is probably worse. Like, 43 lands, I don't know how many of those tap.
Blowing me away. It's 43 lands. Like, go to 38 and give us 5 other good cards. Like, that's where all our good cards went, Steve. Yeah, into these tap lands.
Well, and that brings up another amazing, ridiculous point. Why didn't they print a land for this deck? Like, some kind of super powerful land.
That was that lighthouse, Steve. I think it's in every deck, right?
Don't even talk to me about that.
It's the Forge of Heroes, Steve.
I don't even want.
It's right there, Forge of Heroes.
Okay, that card's good. Sorry, I'm thinking of the other one. I'm thinking of the lighthouse. Yeah, the Forge of Heroes is in each deck, and it's actually pretty good.
That's pretty cool. That's the Opal Palace, which is all right.
We should have brought that up. Dang it!
That's a very good point.
This card. Oh well, that one's good. We forgot to talk about it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
There's soul rings in all of them, right?
Hooray! And
there's command towers and command spheres in some of them.
Well, and that leads me into my next point about all of this. A lot of people have brought up the fact that these cost $5 more.
Yep.
And probably contain about, I don't know how many dollars less.
At least $5 less value, I'd say.
So,
well, I saw somebody totaled it all up, and it's like each deck is like $100.
Yeah.
But again, like,
that's okay. That number, in my opinion, doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Like,
it costs them pennies.
Yeah.
If you're spending more than MSRP on these almost anywhere, like, don't. Like, a good example. We have Commander 16, Commander 15 in the shop now. We bought a couple collections and have full sets of those runs, and those make sense. Yeah. Some of them are even $45, but of course you got a Traxa, which is like $120 or something.
Yeah, like her herself, was like $36. She's a little bit lower now with the anthologies,
but still like $30.
Yeah,
and like this stuff, I would not be surprised if these are in a year. Let's say every game store still has some of them. Mm-hmm. They'll probably be the same price if you ask me.
Yep. You're
not going to see like an Edgar Markov deck that's chock full of oh my gosh going for, say $60 or whatever. These aren't going to be like that.
Let's even think about like the Commander 2014. Mm-hmm. Like that was a kind of dud set in my opinion. Yeah. Like it wasn't very exciting and it was kind of like mud. I think those decks are still probably better than these how how can we go from the last 2 years of Commander ridiculousness? I would call the last 2 years two of the best that we've had.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You know, like even the last 3 years, I would go that far because it's just like what was last year? Last year was tribal, right?
Tribal, then
Then it was four color partner, and then it was the dual color enemy experience. Like those three sets of decks were all like I could play this right out of the box and have an amazing time with it. I didn't really have to upgrade any of this. I watched somebody playing the Mizzix decks right out of the box the other day, and they totally destroyed somebody with a completely upgraded Mael deck, and it's just like, wow, this product actually has power in it. You know, it frustrates me so much.
You know, I think you're right. If you think about it, 2011, good stuff. Some issues, but like solid. 2013, good. Again, I think some were better than others.
Yeah.
But they're still going up in quality. 2014, not great, but still good and unique.
Like they were very because that's the monocolor Planeswalker one, right? That's kind of what the comparison comes from.
Yeah.
It's just like you think about the highlights from there. You've got Durete. Yep. You've got
Teferi. You think of Freyalise, like even Nahiri, like
even Obnixilis. Even as boring as that deck was, it was actually really powerful. Like it had really good mono black staples into it. Think about medallions. Like Jet Medallion.
Yeah. $8, $10 medallions here or there.
How do you get from Jet Medallion to, I don't know, let's go up a little bit.
The gem.
Yeah.
Run a Gilded Lotus. Like.
Yeah. Seer's Lantern. That's a perfect example. Jet Medallion, Seer's Lantern. That is a trash garbage card that is a common from God knows how many sets at this point. I think it was reprinted somewhere.
Just give us a Hedron archive.
Yeah. Oh my
gosh. An uncommon. I need to stop.
Could you imagine if there was like Coalition Relic or something in here? Like
one of them.
Once again, it costs Wizards no extra dollars to print this product. It doesn't matter how many cards are in there, how many good cards are in there, blah 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 blah. And here we are with a bunch of trash that no one's going to use for anything unless they're building like super budget commander decks. Like I see more popper cards in here than I do commander cards.
Yeah, it's rough. We need. Well, I mean.
Well, and we've talked about the conflict of interest here too. It's just like we need to sell this product, and you know, for new players, I don't think this is still a bad guy. It's not bad, but no. My gosh,
I remember telling people, like we were telling people a few weeks ago, just wait.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
The Nirvana's coming. Like we will all be like embraced by Commander 18's warm, glowing embrace, and then it's just like, oh God, like. What happened?
Instead of like warm, cuddly oven mitts, we got a spatula that had just been pulled out of the
burning
oil.
Buy Atraxa again. Like, be a bad person. Like, you can't count on these.
Here's what I would say about the product. If you're looking at buying it, I would definitely get it. If you're interested in any of the commanders, this is the only place you're going to be able to get them besides secondhand, which some of these, in my opinion, are going to be half the price of the product.
People have brought that up. In order to cover the cost, people are going to crack them and sell them as singles. Like, you know, and then like you said, you might as well just buy the box because you're going to be spending $20 on singles that you want from each one.
Especially if you've got an awesome LGS like Collector Mania, that will give you a little bit of a discount for ordering all 4.
Nice pitch, Steve.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, you know, overall, yeah, not the worst commander set, but not anywhere near the best. And somebody needs to pull their head out of where and figure out how to build commander decks again, because whoever was on the design team this time needs to take a hard look at what they've given us this year and realize that if they're charging more money, they damn well better make a better product, not a worse product. That's not how this works at all. That being said, am I going to buy all 4 of them? Yeah, because I'm that guy. And there's a lot of people like me that are just like, I'm not that interested, but I'm going to get all 4 because they're kind of cool and I like the legendaries.
I was gonna say this reminds me a little bit of like Star Wars love-hate, and I hope we're like in the past we've talked about is the fan base ruining Magic or messing with Magic or Wizards or vice versa, and I hope we're not in that realm. I think this is disappointing and warranted, but like I'm not a huge fan of the Star Wars movies recently, but I'm gonna go see the next one. Like it's not a good feeling though. Like you said,
they 100% shot themselves in the foot this time. It's not like I don't think people are being ungrateful or anything about this product. I think people are bringing up good points about this product. And that's where it kind of turns its head for me, because it's not just like, oh, I'm complaining because you didn't do my favorite tribe, or blah, 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 blah,
You've
blah.
ruined Merfolk for me forever.
Yeah.
It's like, this card doesn't make sense. Or why did you hold mini announcement day when pretty much hardly any of this came to a theme or a focused...
Yeah, why did you even tell us? You shouldn't have even announced a theme for any of these decks, because none of the themes, besides the enchantments,
the Bant one,
make a whole lot of sense. Like, even the artifacts can be argued that it's more of a token deck than an artifact deck in a lot of ways. Yeah. Which is fine.
It's fine, just don't tell us it's whatever he said it was. Like,
and if you're going to say lands matter, my god, make lands matter! Nature's Ferocity.
I can't wait until we get to play with these, and I hope I'm wrong, but I don't.
I know we're not. Yeah. That's the problem. It's just going to be like, until I get to upgrade my deck, I'm going to be salty.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to be like, oh, great, Kylie's destroying me with blink stuff, Eric's destroying me with tokens, Greg's destroying us all with enchantments, and here I am trying to figure out why there's 43 tap lands in my deck.
Oh, man.
It's just going to be turn 1, tap land, go. Turn 2, I have 1 mana available, tap land, go.
What do you say, Steve?
Do you see that happening?
Oh, yeah, I do.
I mean, it's going to happen to all
everybody.
3 of us, except for you.
Yeah,
you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
That's going to be the good part about your deck, because you're just going to be like,
I
I have 15 basics, blah.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus 8, I think it's like 15 islands and like 11 mountains. The most sensical mana base is just like riddled with basic lands again.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm really...
We were like, we don't want to be so bad on it. It was just like, I'm pumped about how angry I am about this product.
Because it's 100% true. This is another great opportunity to say, comment in the comment section and let us know how you feel. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of you agree with us. And if you disagree, great. Tell us why you disagree.
And that's fine. Like, we don't want to spoil anything, like Steve said. Like, people do this with all sorts of board games and minis and, like, video games. Like, don't let us make up your mind, I guess.
I can hear Kyle right now, so
he'll offer some good counterpoints
which is good. I like hearing his opinion because he has really good opinions, and he has a tendency to turn me around, just like Seth almost did with the spider with me. And then I thought about it again, and I was just like, you can't trick me.
All right, Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, we should probably
end it here.
Yeah, I think this episode's getting salty.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you next week. That'll be release day. Well, day before release day. So
yes,
we'll catch you then. Thank you.
See ya.